Hi there, I'm Fernanda, and this is my presentation about assignment 2, and I chose to reflect on leadership as I consider very important in any type of organizational environment. In my first assignment, I refer to a point made by Reardon in 2023. He argued that even if an organization has a great workplace, the latest technology, and plenty of knowledge, it can all fall apart if leadership isn't there to support the people. In other words, leadership plays a central role in the workplace. Leadership is basically about inspiring and guiding people so they move together through a common goal. It's less about telling people what to do and more about motivating them, influencing their mindset, and helping them to see the bigger picture. And that's different from being a manager. Management, which is more about using your formal position or authority, like your job title, rules, to make sure that tasks get done and people follow the system. So, in short, leadership is influence and inspiration, and management is authority and structure. So, I will apply this reflection to my own experience in my last job working Apple on the manufacturing floor. The aspect that really stood out to me is the Blake and Mountain's managerial grid model. This model looks at leadership based on two things: concern for people and concern for production. And I saw it play out firsthand while working Apple on the manufacturing floor. So Apple is a company that promotes open communication and democratic leadership style. I'm not saying about Apple, but on the assembly line, I noticed that supervisors could behave very differently depending on the situation. For an example, when the production targets weren't being met, some supervisors focused almost entirely on the numbers. They pushed harder, and sometimes it even led us unfair practices, like assigning heavier jobs to women just because the men weren't hitting their targets. And that created tension and made some of us feel undervalued. On the other hand, I also worked with supervisors who showed a very different approach. They were fair in how tasks were shared. They listened to us and they motivate us by recognizing effort as well as results, which then we still reached our targets, but the team felt more positive, respected, and engaged. When I think about this in terms of managerial grid, the first supervisor was clear in the authority compliance style. So very high concern for production, but low concern for people. The second type of supervisor was closer to the team management style, where there is a balance of concern for both people and production. And that balance really made a difference to how the team worked together. Other theories also helped me to understand this. The Ohio State studies showed the difference between structure and consideration. So strict supervisors focus on structure, while fairy ones balance both. The Michigan studies made a similar point, contrasting production-oriented with employee-oriented leaders, and I could see both styles in action. I also connected this with Simon Sinek's idea that leaders are not responsible for the results, but for the people who are responsible for the results. And that really fit my experience because the supervisors who focus on people end up getting better results anyway. But now a question: leaders are born or made? Traits theory says the leaders are born, not made. They need to have ambition and energy, desire to lead, honesty and integrity, self-confidence, intelligence, high self-monitoring, and job-relevant knowledge. But the behavioral theory basically says that leaders aren't just born, they can be made. This means that leadership qualities such as communication, decision-making, motivation, and adaptability can be taught, practiced, and developed through training and experience. I believe the truth lies in the middle. Take trust, for example. Its fusion, honestly, consistency, and openness. These aren't just skills you can be trained on. They come from character and integrity, which is the firm foundation for leadership. That's the base. Learning these models has helped me to recognize leadership styles more easily. And if I found myself in a similar environment again, I will be able to spot when leadership becomes too production driven and understand the impact it will have more morale. More importantly, if I'm in a leadership role myself, I know I'm in for the team management style, balancing targets with fairness, supporting people, and creating trust. So, overall, this reflection helped me see how theory and real workplace experience connect, and it gave me tools I can actually use to improve both performance and the work environment. Thank you very much.